All right, guys, we are going to jump right into our chapter 4. So we are starting out actually in section 4.2. We're skipping 4.1 for now. And this whole entire unit is about solving systems of linear equations and also inequalities. Inequalities will be very new, and it's kind of weird. They're graphs that have shading. There's a little bit of coloring involved, which is always fun. But today we're just going to kind of ease into one of the 3 ways to solve systems. You're not actually solving systems today, you're just solving for a variable, which you have done before. So we are going to start out by just substituting. So substitution is basically what we did in our function unit. Substitution is when you plug a value, or in our case today, expression, in for a variable. Oops. So we are going to be taking a number or an expression, so like x plus 5, and we're going to be plugging it in for another variable. Plugging in is the same thing as substitution. So one example, and basically all I'm going to do right now is show you 4 different examples. I could explain how to do this 15 million different ways, but I think we all are visual people and we just want to see how this actually is going to be done. So for each problem, I'm going to tell you which variable to solve for, and you need to really pay attention to that in your assignment today. Some problems you're solving for x, some problems you're solving for y. So this one right here, I give you 2 equations. I give you y equals 5. And then I also give you 3x plus 2y equals 16. So if you have this note packet, you're going to have to add this to it. And for this problem, we are going to solve for x. So what this means is that we are going to, or what we're looking for here, take time out. This equation is already solved for y, and this says y equals 5. So that means that I am going to take a 5 and substitute or plug it into the other equation wherever I see a y. So I'm going to take this 5 and I'm going to plug it in, substitute it in right there. So like when you are, I'm going to make a sports reference. If you are playing basketball and you need a sub, or if you're doing a substitution, something comes in for that person and that person leaves. So when I substitute this 5 in for that y is no longer there. So like the 5's coming into the game and the y is coming out of the game. The 5 is coming in for the y. So kind of think of it for my sports people, that's what it is. Or like me as a teacher, if I have a substitute, they take my place. I'm not in the actual classroom. They're substituting themselves into my classroom while I am not there. So that's what substitution is. So what you're going to do today is you're going to substitute different numbers or expressions into other equations. So I'm going to take this 5 and I'm going to substitute or plug it in right here for this y. So you're going to need to rewrite this, and you get 3x plus 2. Now when we substitute, always put a parenthesis. It's going to make your life a lot easier. 5 equals 16. And now if you look here, all I have in my entire equation now are x's, which is good because that's what I'm solving for. I took the y out and I substituted in that 5. So now I just need to simplify this and solve it like we did back in chapter 1. So first thing I'm going to do is the multiplication here. 2 times 5 is 10. So I get 3x plus 10 equals 16. And then you just have a 2-step equation. So draw your little line down if you need it. Subtract 10 on the left, subtract 10 on the right. 3x equals 16 minus 10 is 6. Divide by 3. 6 divided by 3, you get x to equal 2. And for today, that's going to be your answer. You're going to leave it, call it a day, move on to the next problem. So let me show you a couple of other ones. So when you have to just substitute a number in, it's not so bad. It's when you have to substitute an actual expression in that you have to be very, very careful. So let's take a look at this example. This one gives you a pretty nasty decimal, so let's jump down here. Let's take a look at this one. So For A, the try it example 1 in your note packet, or for if you're at home, doing this, pause the video right now so you can get this written down. So for this problem A right here, we are going to solve for y. So when it's all said and done, we need to get y equals a number. So this top equation says x equals y plus 6. So what that means is I'm going to take y plus 6 and substitute it, substitute it in for x into my equation. So that means I'm going into the other equation. So I'm going to take the x out and substitute in the y plus 6. Now in front of this x right here is a 1. In front of this y right here is a 1. They don't write it, but just in case you didn't remember that, there is a 1 actually written there. So when I take the y plus 6 and substitute it in, I technically get 1 parentheses y plus 6 plus y, or 1y, equals 10. This one's a little bit more involved because now we have parentheses. You're going to distribute in, and I know some of you are thinking that this was kind of a waste of a step, but I promise you that this is going to make life a little bit easier down the road as well. So when you distribute in, 1 times y is 1y, 1 times 6 is a positive 6, plus 1y equals 10. Now at this point, if you think about my please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, your order of operations, on the left side of my equation, I have a 1y and a 1y that can be combined together, and you use the signs that they have when they're on the same side of the equation. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Hopefully you don't have to think about that too hard. 2y plus 6 equals 10. And now you're back to a two-step equation. Subtract 6. 2y equals 4. And then divide both sides by 2. And you get y to equal 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then for today, you're going to leave it just like that. Now you're going to probably ask yourself, Mrs. Condell, do I actually have to show that much work? Yes, you do. I need to know, and you need to know, if you get these wrong, I need to be able to see where you're going wrong, because there's multiple steps here. Maybe you didn't distribute, or maybe you said 1 plus 1 is 3, or something like that. So I need to see all of the steps. It's really to help you out. And then the last one, I think this might be the last one that we go through. Maybe there's another one, but I think this might be the last one that we kind of touch on for today. It says y equals 2x minus 1, and then 2x plus 3y equals negative 7. So this says y equal, this one we are going to solve for x. Sorry. So this equation has y by itself. So that means I'm going to take the 2x plus 1 and I'm going to substitute in for y. So I'm going to take the y out and substitute in that 2x minus 1. So then I go to rewrite, and I get 2x plus 3. Now remember, whenever you substitute, you use parentheses. We're taking the y out and substituting in 2x minus 1. That's the replacement into the game. Equals negative 7. And if you look at this point too, see how you only have x's left in your equation? If you would have left your y in there, then you wouldn't be able to solve it. You have to have all of one type of variable in order to be able to solve it. So now you need to distribute. So we take the 3 and we distribute it in, bring down the 2x, leave that guy alone. Positive 3 times a positive 2x is a positive 6x. Positive 3 times a negative 1 is a negative 3 equals negative 7. Once we've done the distributing, now you're going to combine like terms, 2x plus 6x. So combine those together and we get 8x minus 3 equals negative 7. Then we're going to add 3. 8x equals negative 7 plus 3 is a negative 4. And then divide by 8. You do get a decimal. It's not a bad decimal though. And you get x equals negative 4 divided by 8 is negative 0.5. So as you can see, these could be a little bit of work. So you've got to make sure that you are practicing these, trying these out, making sure you know what's going on. Make sure you are taking whatever equation is already solved for the variable, like this says x equals, take that chunk and plug it in for x. If this says y equals, take that chunk, plug it in for y. So just really pay attention to what equations you are given. Like this one right here, we're not going to do this one because you do get a pretty nasty decimal. But because this says y equals, that means you're going to take 6x plus 7 and plug it in or substitute it in for y. If you want to go through and do this one and try it on your own, that's totally fine. And if you want to go through and do it without me showing you the actual, I guess the actual work, if you can go through and do this, this would be one that you would solve for x. If you go through and do this and you end up getting x to equal negative 1.3 repeating, then you know what you're doing. So that's kind of a little like check yourself, make sure you know what you're doing, try it out on your own. See if you can do this problem and end up getting negative 1.3 repeating. If you can, today's going to be easy breezy. So your assignment today is posted. For those in class, it will be handed out to you, and we will be checking over it tomorrow. Good luck.